Yeah, I wouldn't say it was necessarily a rough start. I mean, we didn't get a lot of transition early and often, and so, I mean, even though shots were falling, like it was the first possession on defense was a minute possession. So, I mean, that's what they want to do. But, 30 to 15, if you're playing it that way, you do that over 4 quarters, that's a 60 to 30 game. That's still a pretty solid, outcome. So, like, the purpose was right, timing and stuff like that might have been off. But, when it gets like that, we get in a rush and we want to score really, really fast because it isn't happening as fast as we'd like. But we were able to settle down, but we picked up our intensity on defense, and then we were able to get transition, and then the hoop looks really big. Then you knock down some outside shots, and then that really got us in the flow. And it was really nice to be able to do that with the guys that were on the floor.
What did you guys do so well defensively tonight, especially in that first half?
Well, we had great ball pressure, and we took great penetration lanes, so the help's got to be high and early. That's what we talk about all the time, and it can't be late. And then, we're limiting them to one shot, and Melby does a really good job hitting the boards, and so does the Dame kid. So, and really all their guards do too. So limiting them to one shot was big, but just ball pressure, really forcing their ball handlers and their guards to make it tough on them all night.
I'm glad you brought up that 60-second scoreless first possession, and well, that's going to be history next year. You won't be able to do that. Shot clock will expire.
That's
but
right.
That really seemed like it got everybody, even the crowd, into it.
Absolutely. A huge credit to the crowd. I'll be honest, 8 years ago, I don't even know if our crowd would have realized how big of a deal that was. Nothing against anybody, just, we've got a lot of people that really enjoy basketball. They know basketball now. They understand how hard it is the way that we play. And we weren't sitting in a zone, we're flying all over the place, all over the court for a minute. And to be able to come away with a stop, that's huge. And so for our bench and our crowd and our boys realize how big that was, it doesn't always have to be a 3 or a dunk to energize, and get the spark going. And so it was nice to do that on the defensive end.
I don't know what the exact numbers were, but there was a stretch there for 2 to 3 minutes in the third quarter where you guys put up points in bunches and just took off. It's hard to be patient and wait for that to happen. Those opportunities aren't always going to be there, but it's sure fun to watch when they do arrive.
Oh, absolutely. We talk about sometimes you can't always look for it. You just have to feel it, and you have to let the game come to you. And that's just it. When teams are going to slow us down, we know that we can do those things, and it's really fun to play that way. So that's hard in and of itself, to let the game come to you, settle in, and find a way to make plays to allow those types of opportunities to happen. And so to be able to do that and start the third quarter that way, of course that's icing on the cake, and then everything else just kind of comes a little bit easier after that.
Senior night, what's been so special about this group of seniors for you? Obviously an undefeated season, and just this team as a whole.
Well, those two, it's a small one, but they're even though they're few in number, they're mighty. And I tell you what, like a Jace Peterson, I'll start with him, like a kid that, hasn't started a game in his career, and he's mastered his role. He stars in his role, and he does everything that we ask him. And he's done that in every facet of sport that he's been in. So, when you have a leader and a senior that's able to do that, other kids look up to that, and other people might be in those roles. And that's a kid that, he's owned it, and the other kids respect him and love him for that. And it's just one of those things as a coach, like I'm appreciative because you don't always get kids like that. And then for Grove, that's a kid that's played a lot of basketball, and he's put up a lot of points, a lot of dunks, all that other stuff that you see. But his maturity and his approach to the game, and being a great teammate and understanding of the goal at hand and being really protective of that, he's really locked in right now. And so for other guys that are on the team to see how dialed in and locked in is right now, like he's leading in a whole new level, just like his game. So I'm very proud of both of them.
Late in the third, early fourth, it kind of got to that range where you kind of had it in hand, but it wasn't full-on running clock. So how were you able to kind of manage? You kept some starters in there, some reserves. Did you like what you saw from maybe mixing some lineups?
Yeah, so we know we're going to keep working on our depth. But at the same time, I'm really bad at curtain calls and certain things like that. So I really wanted to get the seniors in there one more time, get them one more possession on offense and defense, maybe get a bucket. And so get them in there, and then, we got Jacob Kuhn a wide open 3, and he nailed it. And so, for them to be out there a part of that, and for them to be just as excited for somebody else to score, that's a perfect curtain call. And so, that's an example. And then we got a lot of kids that can do a lot of things. And, when you're on a 10-0 plus run, we got all kinds of malfunctions going. But when you're on a 10-0 plus run, you got to let the ponies run a little bit. And so we weren't going to take them out. We wanted them to have fun and enjoy the moment.